married her, hoping that I'm, well, I am gonna be married 60 years.
Yeah.
And
the car was sitting in the back seat, and she didn't realize that I'm here.
That's where you gotta get it.
That's all the time.
That's the
Yeah.
true perfection.
All right, I'm tired. Okay, good. Good, we're all good.
Thank you. Liftoff.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Barb.
I am Barbara Nova, and I serve on the board as your Social Action Director. Tonight's service will be led by none other than Rabbi Carla Friedman. Marlene Spiegel will be lighting our Shabbat candles. There will be no Torah service tonight, but we will have a traditional service led by Rachel Rosenzweig and Yuri Reingold, who will lead us in singing Shabbat prayers. Are there any new members out there? No, but we got some guests tonight. The first one is Geneva Thomas, and the second one is her lovely son, Kenny Klein. And then we have James Mumford. We all know him as Linda's husband. Your claim to fame, you're Linda's husband, right? Now we have Sarah Lesson. She's in the middle over there, and she's Barbara Grossman's granddaughter. And then we have, who we hope will be a brand new member, Corey Rothstein. She's back there. Okay? We welcome you tonight, and we hope that you enjoy the service and that you visit us very often. Thank you.
Forgot to say turn off the cell phone.
Yeah, but it's in my script, it's okay. I put it in my script in case Barbara is doing the announcements.
Oh.
You're going to get me, right? She is so easy to pick on. It's really wonderful. So turn off your cell phones. While we're at it, let's do that. Turn off your cell phones. Do everything you can to make them quiet. We're going to begin, as we like to, with a little bit of reflection, meditation, just separating ourselves from the week that was. And so I'm going to ask you to put your feet on the floor and your back against the chair. Make yourself comfortable, if you can do all those things and still be comfortable. And I'm going to ask you to take this moment to tune into your breathing. Pay attention to your breathing. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. You do it all the time, but you don't pay attention. So right now I want you to pay attention to that. Breathing in and breathing out. And breathing in and breathing out. And as you're doing that, I want you to be thinking about what it means to have this wonderful day of Shabbat, this day of separation from the hustle and the bustle, this day of separation from responsibilities and obligations, and this day of refreshment and renewal. This is a day to tune into yourself and the world around you, the natural world around you, not the noise of the electronic devices, not the noise of cars and hustle and bustle and all of that, but tune into the sound of the birds, tune into the smell of the fresh air, tune into not being intruded upon as you do all these things. And as you're breathing in and breathing out, think about what Shabbat is really about. Shabbat is about ceasing from work. That's what the word Shabbat actually means. And so I'd like you to give some thought to how you can be free of work in some way, in some sense, for Shabbat. How are you going to do that? Think about that for a moment, breathing in and breathing out. and separating yourself from work for Shabbat, and breathing in and breathing out, and open your eyes. We're going to begin the service with some singing, of course, and we're going to sing Yadid Nefesh, which is on page 128 in the prayer book, and it's on the screen, and Yuri and Rachel will lead us. And we're going to continue with a reading, which is on page 124 in the prayer book, and it's on the screen. This is a responsive reading, and I will start. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship.
May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture.
May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity.
May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet.
May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness.
May the synagogue be for all who enter the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life.
We're going to continue now with the lighting of the Shabbat candles. I just did your reading? No, I didn't. That was the reading? Oh. No, that's not the reading, actually.
Well, that's what Donna gave me.
Well, then that's done, isn't it? Oh, well. Do you want to make one up?
No. I was afraid it get burnt.
Yeah. That's what I was afraid of. Is that the reading? Yeah, that is the reading right there. Well, never mind. I don't know.
Baruch
Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner Shel Shabbat. So we do have a reading on the screen, which we're going to skip and go right on to Kiddush. Why not? And Kiddush is on page 123 in the prayer book, and it's on the screen. Please, folks at home, raise a glass of wine with us, and those in the congregation, please rise for Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'vratzon hinchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tehila l'mikra'ei kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'charta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. L'chaim. And we're going to continue with L'chadodi, which is in the prayer book on pages 138 and 139. And of course, Yuri and Rachel will lead us.
And if you know it, join us.
No ifs.
Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat lekabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat lekabela. La 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 lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat lekabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat lekabela. Shamor v'zachor liבור echad, ishmiyanu ve'ameyuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shemo tiferet ve'lifnei la 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 lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat lekabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat lekabela. Likrat Shabbat לכו בדרכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם יסופה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה, לה 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 לך דודי, לקראת לקראת קלה, בני בני שבת לקבלה. לך לך דודי, לקראת לקראת קלה, בני בני שבת לקבלה. אורי ושלום עטרת פעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני הסגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך לך דודי, לקראת לקראת קלה, בני בני שבת לקבלה. לך לך דודי, לקראת לקראת קלה, בני בני שבת לקבלה. לה 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 לך דודי, לקראת לקראת קלה, בני בני שבת לקבלה. לך לך דודי, לקראת לקראת קלה, בני בני שבת לקבלה. לה 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 לך דודי, לקראת לקראת קלה, בני בני שבת לקבלה. לך לך דודי, לקראת לקראת קלה, בני בני שבת לקבלה.
I have a public service announcement. There is a black Ford SUV in the parking lot with its horn going, and it's going to run out of power if it keeps going all night. It could, it could be John.
Can you relight that candle? please.
Could I relight that candle? Here we go again.
Just give it one try. See if it stays.
Okay.
It's right in the line. Oh, it's lit. Magic. You got the magic touch, Rabbi.
Here's the match.
It's magic.
It's a miracle.
It's a miracle.
It is. Nes Gadol.
You did, you could see.
Nes Katan, I think, but yeah.
Hayafo.
All right.
It is.
It's there.
Okay, so you saw it here, the little
Wonder,
jug of
wonder,
oil.
Miracle of miracles.
It's been your way.
Well, Joanne is back there.
Should we?
Joanne, this little jug of oil, did you see it? So if you don't know the reference that we're making, all is well. Was it your vehicle?
I probably just leaned over to get something and it hit my
You hit your pockets, yes. So it was telling you your pocket was doing something, right?
Yeah. We're not going to go there.
John? This is a really rough crowd, I tell you. Well, now that the candles are both lit,
Are we lit yet?
we're going to continue on page 144 in the prayer book. The text is on the screen. It's Chatzi Kaddish, which tells us that we have completed the introductory section of the service, and we will shortly begin the service proper. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah v'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'meru Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'alam Ulam Me'amaya Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh V'yithadar V'yitalev V'yithalal Shmei Dekudesha B'richu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata damiran b'alma v'meru. Amen. And we're going to continue with the formal opening of the service, the call to worship. The Baruch Hu on the screen on page 146 in the prayer book. Please rise. Lai 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 Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed Lai 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 lai. You know, I'm not used to having to open and close the curtains. I've gotten spoiled, yeah. I feel unloved. No, it's okay. No, Barbara, it's okay. I'm going to manage. It's okay. It's okay. No. No.
Okay, you got me.
No. No, do you have a prayer book? Page 148, and on the screen, let's read together. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. And we're going to continue with Ahavat Olam. The words will be on the screen, and it's on page 150 in the prayer book.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limodeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu, b'shachveinu u'bekumeinu, nasiach b'chokecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'b'mitzvotecha, le'olam va'ed. Ki hein chayenu, be'orech yameinu, be'orech yameinu, u'bahem neged yomam v'layla, yomam v'layla.
Tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Page 152, 53, and 54. Please rise for the Shema. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha. V'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם emet. And we're going to continue with the reading that is on the screen. It's on page 239 if you're looking for it in the prayer book. Let's read together. Emet, there is no place where you are not. Even in the wilderness there is your word. Emet, that pen strokes of lightning, white fire, black flame, stir the soul's passion, guide our sacred way. True and enduring is Torah. Your truth for us is certain and established, now and forevermore. Like Moses, Miriam, and all Israel, we sing out and rejoice. And what we sing out is Mi Chamocha.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש. נורא תהילות עושה פלא, מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש.
Yanu v'amru, Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. V'ne'emar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov v'ga'alo miyad chazak mimenu. Baruch ata Adonai ga'al Yisrael. And we're going to continue on page 161 with a reading. Let's read together. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai. Not doing that. Not doing that yet. No, this is tricky now. This is a maneuver we're doing. Yeah, I was on automatic pilot is what I was doing. We're going to sing Hashkivenu, which is on page 160. And when we're finished with Hashkivenu, then we'll do the Chatima, as planned, right? They're in there saying, yes, right. So, Hashkivenu.
Ashkivenu, Ashkivenu, Adonai, Eloheinu, Leshalom, Leshalom. Ashkivenu, Ashkivenu, Adonai, Eloheinu, Leshalom. V'hamidenu malvenu lechaim, Uleshalom, Uleshalom. Ashkivenu, 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 Adonai, Eloheinu, Leshalom. Ufros aleinu, Sukkot Shlomecha. Ashkivenu, Ashkivenu, Adonai, Eloheinu, Leshalom.
Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. And we're going to continue now with a reading that is on the screen. There it is. Just like that, right? In an ancient legend, God speaks to the children of Israel, saying, "My children, if you are willing to accept the Torah and observe the mitzvot, I will grant you a most precious gift." And what is that precious gift to be? Ask the children of Israel. The world to come, is the reply. Tell us what the world to come is like, retort the children of Israel. And God responds, I have already given you the Sabbath. That Sabbath is a taste of the world to come. We're going to sing Vishamar.
And if you know it, sing along with us.
Try stopping them.
Good.
Veshameru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat ledorotam berit olam, berit olam. Beini uvein bnei Yisrael, oti leolam. Beini uvein bnei Yisrael, oti leolam. Ki sheshet yamin asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz, ubayom hashvi'i shavat va'inafash. Beini uvein bnei Yisrael, oti leolam. Beini uvein bnei Yisrael, oti leolam. Veshameru bnei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat ledorotam berit olam.
That's very pretty, isn't that? Whose version is that?
Debbie Friedman?
That's Debbie Friedman. She wrote some good stuff, that girl.
She did.
She did, yes. You know, probably the most difficult thing for me that she wrote was her version of the V'ahavta, which I just can't get my head around. It's not the music, but there's something about it. I just can't do that. But she wrote some
really
some
pretty
classic and wonderful stuff. Yes, indeed. And you know, she's the godmother of all the stuff that's happening now. It all goes back to Debbie Friedman. You know, before Debbie Friedman went to summer camps and started doing her own music, the kinds of things we sing were not done at all. Not only not at the summer camps, but for sure not in the sanctuaries. And her innovation and persistence, despite being obstructed by the establishment of the Reform movement, penetrated, and that's why we are where we are musically in the Reform movement today, without question. One of the ironies of life is that when Debbie died so suddenly and unexpectedly a few years back, a donor, somebody I believe living on Long Island, and I have no idea who this was, contacted the seminary, the Hebrew Union College in New York, where the School of Sacred Music is. And the School of Sacred Music is where our cantorial people come from, and Debbie Friedman had been shooed away from there. They didn't think very highly of what she was doing. And this donor said, I'll give you, I don't know, $1 billion, but you have to change the name. It has to be the Debbie Friedman School of Sacred Music. And guess what it's called, by the way?
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. One of the
Awesome.
ironies of life, the Debbie Friedman School of Sacred Music. Debbie Friedman actually said that. But that's immortality, yes.
Just before she died, she came to Lakewood to our synagogue there and worked with the kids to make sure they could all sing. It was really. We went to see her a couple times, Michelle and I, but this one was really special.
Yes. Laura is saying that just before Debbie died, she was in their community in New Jersey and worked with the children, and it was wonderful. Yeah. And at least once, not long before she died, maybe a year or two, I was at a conference that she participated in, and her sign language person was with her. Yes,
Interpreter.
Was with her. And then at the next time that conference happened, her signer was with us, and she spoke very movingly about. She was with Debbie at the end there in England. Yeah. Anyway, wonderful, very beautiful piece. So we are going to go forward now with the Amidah, which begins on page 164. This is the central prayer of every Jewish service. We're going to do the first three sections together in the Hebrew, and then I will come back from the Ark and we'll do some reading and some singing to the end of the Amidah. Please rise now for the Amidah. Oh, good, I don't have to open it. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagite hilatecha. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagite hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Adonai, sifatai tiftach, Ufi yagid tehilatecha Adonai. Sifatai tiftach Ufi yagid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chazdei Avot V'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo B'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshia Umagen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Ata gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol ata, Rav Loshia, Morid hatal. Mechalkel chaim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim berofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melach, melech memit umechaye, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman ata l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hakol. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kdoshim kol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Yeah. And we're going to read this reading responsively. I will start. Disturb us, Adonai, ruffle us from our complacency. Make us dissatisfied with the peace of ignorance, the quietude which arises from a shunning of the horror, the defeat, the bitterness, and the poverty, physical and spiritual, of humans.
Shock us, Adonai. Deny to us the false Shabbat, which gives us the delusions of satisfaction amid a world of war and hatred.
Wake us, O God, and shake us from the sweet and sad poignancies rendered by half-forgotten melodies and rubric prayers of yesteryears.
Make us know that the words of sanctuary is not the order of living, and the walls of our temples are not shelters from the winds of truth, justice, and reality.
Disturb us, O God, and vex us. Let not your Shabbat be a day of torpor and slumber. Let it be a time to be stirred and spurred to action. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. And we continue now with Ritzei.
Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu, Be'amecha Yisrael, U'tefilata me'al עבודת ישראל. ישראל עמך. אל קרוב לכל קורב, פנה אל עבדיך וחננו. שפוך רוחך עלינו, ותחזינה עינינו, ושובך לציון. ברחמים. ברוך אתה אדוני המחזיר שכינתו
And we're going to continue with the reading that is on page 177. Is that right? Yes, it is. Well, okay. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these things and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha, ulecha na'eh lohodot. Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, tasim leolam. 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 Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol ha-shalom. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol ha-shalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, tasim leolam. V'tov b'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, tasim לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל
Also very pretty. We're going to continue with a responsive reading, which is on the screen. It is not in the prayer book, so we have to work from the screen. We cannot merely pray to you, O God, to end war, for we know that you have made the world in such a way that we must find our own path to peace within ourselves and our neighbors.
We cannot merely pray to you, O God, to end starvation, for you have already given us the resources with which to feed the entire world, if we would only use them wisely.
We cannot merely pray to you, O God, to root out prejudice, for you have already given us eyes with which to see the good in all people, if we would only use them rightly.
We cannot merely pray to you, O God, to end despair, for you have already given us the power to clear away slums and to give hope if we would only use our power justly.
We cannot merely pray to you, O God, to end disease, for you have already given us great minds with which to search out cures and healings, if we would only use them constructively.
Therefore, we pray to you instead, O God, for strength, determination, and willpower, to do instead of just pray, to become instead of merely to just wish.
For your sake and for ours, speedily and soon, that our land may be safe, that our lives may be blessed. May the words that we pray and the deeds that we do both be acceptable before you, Adonai, our rock and our Redeemer. Please use this opportunity for personal and private prayer.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו, ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו, ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו, ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן, ואמרו amen.
Pretty. We're at that point in the service where we offer prayers for the sick. We're going to start with reading the names, and I will give you an opportunity to pray privately, and then we will have the Mishaberach music. So I will begin by reading the list of names of the congregants for whom we are praying for health this Shabbat. Beverly Adler, Robert Berg, Elaine Bialer, Barry Brown, Andrea Chasen, Arlene Cohen, Bernie Cohen, Freda Cohen, Susan Dogan, Marianne Fink, Batsheva Sarah Gamaran, Richard Hoffing, Liz Jacobs, Marcia Katz, Verna Kelly, Carolyn Corlin, Marlis Markovitz, Bonnie Meyer, Amy Mogill, Paula Newberger, Faye Nippon, Leslie Rapkin, Fanny Reese, Betty Sarlin, Jacqueline Schindler, Mark Schoenholtz, Barry Schwartz, Joe Sheff, Norman Toff, Ruth Turchin, Don Zion, Stanley Zarofsky, Leslie Zwain, Amit Ben Shirley, Ariel Bat Rivka, Ariella Bat Shoshana, Chana Pesa Bat Golda, Chava Bat Esther Malka, Chaya Esther Bat Chana, Dvorah Bat Ruth, Esther Badana Bat Shena Malka, Henya Rachel Bat Sarah, Heshleib Ben Devorah, Yosef Shmuel Ben Bertha, Leib Shalom Ben Fege Rachel, Manya Bat Fredel, Masha Bat Esther, Menachem Ben Frima, Mindela Bat Frima, Mordechai Ben Sarah, Moshe Hersh Ben Rivka, Pesach Lev Ben Sarah, Sarah Mindel Bat Chanalea, Shaul Yochanan Ben Sarah, Shena Leah Bat Devorah, Shirley Bat Sarah, Shulamit Bat Zila, Velvel Ben Hindabela, and Yonatan Ben Chassia. Now I'm going to ask you to take the opportunity to think about the people for whom you want to offer prayers for health and well-being. And as you do that and you think about them, please articulate the names silently. Think about those folks. And while we're praying, let's offer prayers for the people of the Ukraine. And let's offer prayers for people in this country in particular, but anywhere in the world, who are dealing with the aftermath of gun violence. Every week, new people to add to that list in this country. And let's offer prayers for people who are dealing currently with the effects of global warming on their places of residence, their sources of food, their safety. Let's offer prayers for our country. And let's offer prayers for our planet. And now the music.
מי שברך אבותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, שרה, רבקה, רחל ולאה, הוא יברך וירפא את החולים. ומי שברך אבותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, שרה, רבקה, רחל ולאה, הוא יברך וירפא את החולים. אל נא רפאנה, אל נא רפאנה, אל נא רפאנה, אל נא רפאנה. מי שברך אבותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, שרה, רבקה, רחל ולאה, הוא יברך וירפא את החולים. הוא יברך וירפא את החולים.
Well, I was thinking that it's, somebody asked me just, was it yesterday? Maybe that. Somebody asked me, and I was thinking about, it's time to say a few more words about Israel. Right? So it's the situation in Israel, it grows ever more complicated almost daily. First of all, you probably are well aware that a prisoner in Israel, an Arab prisoner in Israel, a Hamas terrorist actually, went on a hunger strike a while back and died last week. And that set off the current spate of missile firings coming from the Gaza Strip into Israel and back from Israel into the Gaza Strip. And that has the potential to escalate quickly and wildly out of control. At the moment, it looks like the Egyptians are attempting to achieve a ceasefire. So there have been some temporary ceasefires, but none of them have lasted very long. And the Egyptians are in the negotiating seat right now. And that's interesting. They have been successful before, the Egyptians, in bringing these kinds of skirmishes to an end. There was one rocket fired from Gaza that actually evaded Iron Dome. Did you see that? No. And did some damage. And Israel has a new technique, or a new apparatus called David's Sling that has proven successful in intercepting rockets fired into Israel. But there has been some damage in Israel, and that's a first in a very long time, which is unnerving, especially as we have just recently celebrated the 75th anniversary of the state. You know, it is reminiscent of 1948. So that's going on. And still in the background is the question of what the Netanyahu government is going to achieve or not achieve with the changes they are proposing to the selection of Supreme Court judges and the powers of the court. Since the last time I spoke about this in the sanctuary, there have been many more demonstrations, and the last big demonstration was around Pesach, just after Pesach actually, and it was in Jerusalem, and 600,000 people came out into the streets in favor of what the Netanyahu government wants to do. And, you know, when we hear that number, 600,000 people, and we take into consideration that the rallies and the protests on the other side of the issue were bringing out 200,000 or 300,000 people, we wonder, well, what's really going on here? But it's important to recognize that Jerusalem is almost exclusively occupied by the ultra-Orthodox. And so they can bring 600,000 people into the streets of Jerusalem, but they have virtually nobody anywhere else. And the protests that we were seeing before were both in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, and there were protests in Haifa and in Beersheba and other places as well. So that number is a little bit scary at first, but when you recognize that it really represents the only seat of power that the ultra-Orthodox can summon people from, perhaps that puts it in a different perspective. So before Pesach, Netanyahu put the whole thing on hold to get us through Pesach, and then there was Yom HaShoah, and then Yom HaAtzmaut, and Yom HaZikaron, Yom HaAtzmaut. And so he allowed a breathing period of almost a month. And then they're back to talking about the changes that are being proposed. The president of Israel, whose name is Yitzhak Herzog, who has no power whatsoever in this situation, chose to step in and try to bring the parties to the table to negotiate. And he actually made some proposals which were immediately set aside because there was no way these people are going to agree to his very reasonable proposals. And so the issue is now still on the table. There has been some suggestion that Netanyahu might back off a little bit. I'm not holding my breath, and I don't encourage you to do that. He has never done that, and he and his followers believe that they have the power in the Knesset to achieve what they want. And unfortunately, that may very well be true. That may very well be true. There have been fascinating debates and discussions about the significance of all of this. In Israel, these discussions are going on, and in every major Jewish venue as well. And the question is, can Israel be a Jewish state and democracy? That's the question. And the ultra-Orthodox are saying they don't care about the democracy part, they care about the Jewish part. And they want the Jewish part according to their standards and definitions. And the folks on the other side are saying, yeah, you know, it could be a democracy and a Jewish state. But they don't have the power in the Knesset to make that happen. So we haven't made any progress in this subject, and it doesn't look like we're going to. And in the meantime, so what do we have so far? We have a war going on, or at least battles, skirmishes, and we have the back and forth over the nature, the very nature of the state of Israel. And Mr. Netanyahu's trials are ongoing. There are 3 of them. 3 separate trials for corruption, 3 separate charges, and he is still under the responsibility of the courts in that regard. So this is a very crazy time to be in Israel, because the security is by no means clear. And as though that weren't enough, one of the ministers in the cabinet has decided that he's going to create a national guard in case the army, which has said they're not going to follow the orders of the government if it orders the army to control the people. So the scenario would be that the Netanyahu agenda about the Supreme Court is enacted in the Knesset, and then there will be riots on the streets, and the government will call out the army to control the riots, and the army has said, no, they're on the side of the rioters. So one of the ministers in the cabinet has said, no, he's going to start his own national guard, so that if the army defaults, he will have his own army to come and... so that's what's going on in Israel. Does that make you happy? No. What is this? What is happening to our little Jewish homeland? You know, if it were not so crazy sad, it would be very funny.
It actually sounds more like Chile in the 1970s.
Yes. Yeah.
Somebody said that on television.
Yeah. It does sound like things that have gone on in other parts of the world, where things are just totally out of control. Linda.
Sounds like Florida.
Linda says it sounds like Florida. Well, there's a line I'm not going to touch. Thank you, Linda. Stephen, go ahead.
Well, Rabbi, 600,000 strong out of a country of 7 million Jews is not a lot. So my gut tells me...
Wait a minute. 7 million Jews?
7 million people.
No. There are closer to 10 million people, and it's
7 or 8 million
8 million Jews these days, yes.
But 600,000 out of 7 or 8 million is not very much at all. So my gut
But
tells me...
Go ahead, no, your gut tells you?
My gut tells me that if this move by the government on the side of the ultra-Orthodox comes to fruition,
Yeah?
there's going to be rioting in the streets.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and where we disagree, I guess, is I give Netanyahu more credit than that. I think that he understands the implications of what may happen, and I'm not sure he wants that to happen.
Well, Steve is saying that 600,000 people out demonstrating in the streets in a country of 8 million people or 9 million people is not very many people. The problem with that, Steve, is that they're all the ultra-Orthodox. And the visuals of that are really important, because it makes it look like Jerusalem is entirely in favor of what... And Jerusalem's the capital of the country, so that has an impact on the way it's seen. And I understand what you're saying, but it's 600,000 people who feel strongly enough about something to come out and so there's that. Then there's the question of whether Netanyahu will allow this to happen because he understands the implications. There's my gut feeling is that Netanyahu has too much at stake personally to be able to see that. Because the issue is, if he is convicted of these crimes, he could be sent to prison. Israel has sent a president, a former president, and a prime minister to prison. Yes, so that could happen in Israel. And Netanyahu does not want to go to prison. So I don't think he sees beyond that one fact by itself. That's my take. I understand.
I just wanted to say one thing about the visual. I think the visual is different when you're outside Israel looking in and when you're inside Israel itself. And so you're right. 600,000 when you're outside Israel looking in looks like a massive amount.
It is.
If you live in Israel and you understand the population and the differential, you realize where the power may well be.
Except for the fact, yes, the power of the numbers it may be clear, but the reality is that the power is in the Knesset, and it's with the coalition government. And there aren't enough votes to defeat the coalition right now. And so Netanyahu can ram his court reforms through the Knesset. It doesn't matter what the majority of the Israelis who are out on the streets have to say, because he has the control in the Knesset. That's the problem. And the people will not be heard.
If he does that, it will be catastrophic for Israel.
Well, we're going to see.
And there's the question of the money.
Money is always a good question.
And stuff I'm reading talks a lot about the fact that American Jewry controls a lot of money.
Oh, yes.
Is not very happy about this.
Well, American Jewry is divided into different groups, you know.
Yes, it is divided.
Yes. And we have been saying, and I've been saying, don't send your money just willy-nilly to Israel. Send it through the Israel Religious Action Center, which is the arm of the reform movement that challenges these court questions, where the rights of women and the rights of non-Orthodox Jews are contested. But the really big problem is that if Netanyahu has his way, the court system will no longer be useful to us. That's the problem.
And we haven't even begun to discuss the role of the Arabs living in Israel.
The role of the Arabs in Israel is a really interesting question.
As this goes forward.
Yes. They have already been somewhat disenfranchised by the Netanyahu government, not the current one, but the previous one that was thrown out and caused the last election. But they already have done things to impose more controls and constraints on the Arab population. And there's no reason to think that that wouldn't continue.
Until they start killing Jews in the street, like in 1948.
Well, it's hard to see that happening quickly, but the Israelis are in a much better position than they were in 1948. So we'll wait and see what happens with that and hope that it doesn't come to killing in the streets. But the issue is that the whole democratic process is now at risk. The whole democratic process is now at risk.
There was a really great article in the Wall Street Journal about 2 weeks ago.
If you have that article,
I actually have that at home. I will send it.
send it to me and I'll see if I can send it out.
People streaming
Yes, I'm about to, yes, no, I'm trying to do that though, I am. So Michelle is saying that she has an article from the Wall Street Journal on this subject that if I get it, I will send it out. The disenfranchisement of of women in Israel, the disenfranchisement of non-Orthodox Jews in Israel, the disenfranchisement of Arab citizens of Israel. These are all connected. And all these groups have depended upon the independence of the court, and in particular the Supreme Court of Israel, to protect their rights. And that is very much at risk, because what Netanyahu's plan is to take away the clout of the court. He's going to diminish the things that the court can achieve. And it's important for all of us to continue to remember that this could happen because Israel does not have a constitution. You can't say, well, that's not constitutional, because there is no constitution. And they're making it up as they go along. And I come back to what I have said many, many times, which is that I think Mr. Netanyahu is doing a lot of these particular maneuvers, especially about the courts, because he is facing the courts personally right now. And he did not succeed in making changes in the last government. And now he has the clout. And I don't think for a moment that he will shy away from using it to protect himself. I don't think so. Well, that's my take on what's going on. The bad news is that it hasn't gotten better, it's gotten worse. So watch the news. And there are articles in all of the major publications, the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, the Washington Post. All the papers are carrying major articles on this situation. So and watch the news, because every night there's more about the current skirmishes, and we'll see what the Egyptians are able to accomplish. And let's pray for peace in the state of Israel. Osa shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. Let's continue with the Aleinu on page 586, and on the screen, please rise. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. And we read together. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding, loved each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. Okay. Good work. Our thoughts turn now to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. This Shabbat, the congregation is remembering Irvin McDaniel, father of Jean Aronson, Jillian Miller, niece of Michelle Atkins Schaefer, Rosalind Berman, mother of Harvey Berman, Teresa Rice, mother of Deborah Boyarsky, Bruce Garelick, family friend of Lee Danzig, Stephen Weiss, brother of Susan Dogan, Max Fader, father-in-law of Marcia Fader, Lenore Greenfield, mother of Andrew Greenfield, Bessie Kaplan, mother of Ira Kaplan, Irene Bernstein, mother of Carolyn Corlin, Ted Bernstein, father of Carolyn Corlin, Mildred Pearls, mother of Judith P. Kramer, Bernard Levy, brother of Linda Mostov, Max Kriegler, father of Susie Reingold, Leona Rosenberg, wife of Jerome Bud Rosenberg, Rose Safian, mother of Lynn Safian, Herman Super, father of Sandy Zions, Sylvia Niedenthal, Herbert Shapiro, Sally Simpkins, Jonathan Cookland, Minna Pollock, Harold Goldberg, and Rachel Ray Altman. We are counting Shloshim for Gilda Atkins, mother of Michelle Atkins Schaefer, and former congregant of Beth Israel. And we are awaiting details yet on the funeral and Shiva for our congregant Eugene Udowin, who died earlier today. So please stay tuned and watch the emails, which will come out with further information about that. And now we turn to Kaddish, which is on page 598. Please rise for Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei dekudsha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Please be seated. Everybody's favorite moment? Oh, it's announcement time. Barbara's leaving. So those are the announcements. I hope you enjoyed them. She promised me they would be brief, but not that brief. Really, Barbara?
Okay. First, I would like to thank Rabbi Carla for a fabulous service as usual, and for the comments on Israel. It's nice to be up to date, even though they were not so pleasant. Thank you to Marlene Spiegel for lighting the candles, or not.
No, so far we're still here.
It's still here. It's still lit, right? For the third time is
yeah.
Charm.
the charm. And thank you to the tech team. I don't know who's in there tonight, but whoever it is, thank you very much.
And Yuri and Rachel.
And yeah, I will do that.
Okay.
Yes, it's coming up. Yes. Rachel and Yuri, there's not enough to say. To say thank you to you. You were terrific as usual, and we certainly do thank you for doing this for us and sharing this with us. Okay. Are there any Simcas? Anybody want to share some good news? James, what would you like to tell us?
It's my birthday today.
Happy birthday!
We can
No, not now. We'll
Oh.
sing the birthday
Okay.
song in the Oneg room, but I
Okay.
do think it is interesting that James chose to celebrate his birthday by coming here tonight. Don't you think that's
Yes.
interesting?
We're happy you did that, James.
We are, and we will show you in the other room.
In
yeah.
case you didn't hear that at home, it's James' birthday today.
So, James, I can't let this go, James. James, today's your birthday. How old are you, James?
I'm not telling, 70.
Oh, it's a good number. There you go.
There you go.
Absolutely. Well, very good.
Mazel tov.
That's great.
And James, other than being here at Beth Israel, which is everybody's choice for how to celebrate their birthday, when you're not Jewish. Yeah. Are you going to do anything else by way of celebration, James? Climb a rock face or something like that?
No, I had a very good day. I went rowing in the morning, and then Linda and her friends took me out for lunch.
Oh, good.
That's
Today,
nice.
I'll come here.
Oh, okay, great. Well,
Sounds wonderful.
you really know how to live, James.
For those of you at home, James is 70 today.
Yes, hooray.
Mazel tov.
Okay, here's the boring part. We have Shabbat services tomorrow at 10 to 11:30. We have brown bag lunch. 12 o'clock, we have Torah study in person and on Zoom. That's the only part of tomorrow that is on Zoom.
And we do want to tell you that we need help with the minyan for the service. Because a couple of our regulars are not available. No, there's a few, actually.
Yes.
So if you are by any means available, please do consider joining us.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Monday is the book club, 10:30 on Zoom. Tuesday is continuing Hebrew, 1:30 to 3, biblical Hebrew, 3 to 4:30. Wednesday is choir practice, 7 to 8:30 p.m.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Thursday is biblical Hebrew, 3 to 4:30. And
No. Biblical Hebrew is 1:30 to 3.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that
And at
it
3
said-
o'clock we do Jewish studies, Barbara.
That's
you
true.
That you
That's
come
true.
to. Yes, that's a
That's
class
true.
you attend.
Yes, I do. Yes. Basic. Well, I have it written here, but I have the same time written twice, so that was stupid. Okay. So, basic Jewish literacy is 3 to 4:30.
Yeah.
When are we going to change to the new program?
We will be switching to our new course on June 1st, which is a Thursday. And our new course is going to be we're going to read the David story from the Bible. And if you're interested and you want to know what the book is or what some suggestions for the book would be, speak to me afterwards. I'll be happy to tell you. But we're going to have some fun with King David, starting June 1st.
Okay. Tonight's Oneg is being sponsored by Susan Dogan and Larry Greenfield in honor of their belated birthdays. And I must tell you, they are not here because they have COVID. And we wish them speedy recoveries, and we feel terrible that they're not here.
Well, but let me just...
Always feel terrible when they're not here.
Well, that's true. That for the entire summer into the
That's
spring.
true,
That's right.
exactly.
But I do want to say that they're actually doing quite well.
Oh, that's very good. I'm
Yeah.
very glad to hear that. Okay, now I need to tell you something personal. I will make it quick. The Nearly New Shop, which is part of the Interfaith Council, needs help very desperately. We're asking only for 1 hour of your time whenever you can do it. It's probably just going to be for the summer. I mean, you can stay if you want to, but it's the summer that they desperately need because everybody went back. They went back home to the snowbirds. So now they are desperate for help.
Where is it?
The Nearly New Shop is behind the Sun City Center Plaza, right behind it. And it's a wonderful, wonderful organization. And the reason that I'm asking you to do this is because we have, in this time of anti-Semitism, we really have to show them what we're about. And it's really, really important that as a Jewish community, we get out there and show them what the Jews are really about and not what they're hearing on television, et cetera.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
You just never know. We're going to close the service. That's the good news. And it's all yours.
Okay,
All right.
we're going to do Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu.
Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Turn your cell phones back on and join us in the social hall for refreshments.
And if you're at home, we hope you have some good refreshments to enjoy as well. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, baby. No? Aw.